Don't forget, most of these leaders have been trained in Western institutions.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So then this is a clear example of a wolf that has been taught to think like a sheep. So it actually thinks itself a sheep, right? So it might not think what it's doing is wrong. These are people who live in the plush prime areas of Accra. Their route to and from work are within those same localities. So they don't see the sufferings of the ordinary man.
Tinted car
Windows at high speeds.
Yeah.
So they're not able to even see what's going on out there.
Yeah.
They don't go to the typical markets that you have to go to. It's either the house help does that, or they do their shopping in the metropolitan area, so the supermarkets and all of those.
Reports from Woodmire. We all watched it, and seeing the man, the whole country are behind Marchwithtraore in the sense that they are citizen vigilantes.
Right.
They don't sleep. They are in the middle of the street.
Paul Biya,
midnight.
The president of Cameroon,
Yeah.
has been in power for over 30 years. Where is the democracy in this? Why is the West not asking him to return his country to democratic rule?
So
Yes.
we gotta talk security in the sense that we hear countries revelations from other countries, first developed countries and developing countries, that their governments are acquiring spywares to snoop on their people without permission, without requisite approval from various parliaments and congresses. And we are thinking Ghana, so is Ghana government capable of acquiring spyware to spy on its citizens? Not necessarily criminals,
Right.
but dissident individuals,
Right.
opponent, active, or I would say rebel citizens. That government of Ghana has acquired spyware or software to spy on its people, instead of activities like illegal mining, galamsey, and all.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
Right. So I just pulled up this document from March 2018. I think I shared with you. Yes. This from the Ministry of Defense.
Yeah.
And it's a parliamentary memorandum by the Honorable Minister for Defense
Yeah.
on agreement between the government of Ghana and the United States of America and the government of the Republic of Ghana on defense cooperation, the status of United States forces, and access to and use of agreed facilities and areas in the Republic of Ghana. So this basically or effectively was the agreement for the setting up of military bases here in Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to Article 14, I'll just read this quickly. Article 14 says the use of radio spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And it says, Ghana recognizes that it may be necessary for the United States forces to use the radio spectrum. United States forces shall be allowed to operate its own telecommunication systems as telecommunications defined in the 1992 Constitution and the Convention of the International Telecommunications Union. This shall include the right to utilize such means and services as required to ensure full ability to operate telecommunication systems and the right to use all necessary radio spectrum for this purpose. Use of the radio spectrum shall be free of cost to the United States forces. What this basically is saying is that the radio spectrum that would deal with your all telecommunications and even communication with TV, radio, all of these things. That whole spectrum has been given, access to that has been given unimpeded to the United States Army.
Without any cost.
No cost. Free of all charges. And they have free access.
No oversight.
To all of it, yes. And I should have read that part where it says they're not answerable to us.
Yes, it says they would operate their own independent telecommunications.
Yes. There's actually an article that says they are free from any kind of checks or anything. Yes, we can't do nothing about it. So I raised this issue up to say, even without acquiring spyware.
Yeah.
Right. The United States Armed Forces has access to all our communications.
Yes. They are doing that.
They don't need to spy. We've given it
Yes.
to them on the platter,
Yes.
right? Your spyware is actually necessary when they're trying to infiltrate to get access to your spectrum,
Yeah.
right? But in this case, we've actually given it to them.
Yes.
So whether or not they have spyware or our government has acquired spyware is neither here or there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even not to be considered.
Yeah.
Because we've actually given it on the platter to a foreign government and a foreign
Superpower
yeah.
who have interest in your country.
That's how crazy it is. And this is from 2018. So you can imagine how much information or data they would have on each and every one of us.
Yes.
Particularly what they refer to as dissident voices.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So no, spying has been a real thing. I mean, they wouldn't call it spying in today's parlance. They call it intel gathering.
Yes.
Right. Intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can be very sure they have access to
Yes.
everything we do because it's been given to them like it's on the platform.
Invading our freedom.
There's no censorship on it. But then with the spyware, there's a software that was developed by the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, yes, called
Pegasus.
Pegasus, yes.
Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
And it's been used, I mean, several times. Particularly activists and revolutionaries, they've been targeted with that software, where they try to clone your mobile phone devices, your computers, all of those digital appliances you use to hold data. Yes, they try to have access and then duplicate it, so they have easy access. You can monitor what you're up to, what you're doing. You know. So you know we're aware of those.
They can predict the next move.
Yes. I mean, the algorithms right now are so precise. They can predict some of your behaviors because you know they monitor, they listen, they see your habits.
Yes.
So they're able to, in fact, not just predicting, they're able to manipulate you to make certain specific choices.
Yeah.
Particularly, we see this in marketing, advertisement. Yes.
Yeah.
But then you can be very sure it goes way beyond advertisement.
Intelligence.
Yes, they use that
it does.
in character and habit formation and all of those. So no, it's a real situation, and the sad part is our so-called leaders
have acquiesced to it.
You know, they don't even understand the implications of such things.
They would think they are doing us a favor.
You know, but then think about your own security, your
Yes.
family's security.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed. You see,
Yes,
and I don't think
sovereignty. Yes.
compromised. I don't think they understand from that point of view.
And even the leader who agreed for such an agreement, if you go wayward or they find you useless, they can use the same device to get you out.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying that they don't really have a good appreciation of some of these issues. They
Yeah.
just act as if it's business as usual, and that's really disappointing to see.
Can we say it's ignorance of politics or it's just gullibility?
A mixture of that, of both, and a little more. So don't forget, most of these leaders have been trained in Western institutions.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So then this is a clear example of a wolf that has been taught to think like a sheep. So it actually thinks itself a sheep, right? So it might not think what it's doing is wrong, but then it just is what it is.
Yes.
So most of them are supervising or presiding over these arrangements without seeing it as an attack on their people, because they themselves are so-called leaders, identify closely with these
West.
other
They've
people.
been indoctrinated.
Exactly.
Yes.
So white men in black man's skin.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yes.
So they actually see this to be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, they don't see it as an attack on their people because they don't even identify with us more than they do with them.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
so that's
no
a
wonder
disconnect.
they don't understand the youth when we raise such topics.
There's a disconnect. Yes.
They think we're messing with our own heads
You know.
to be thinking about that.
So you even talk about unemployment. They don't feel it. They don't see it.
They don't appreciate it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
they
There's
are
a disconnect.
a very big disconnect. Their families are all educated. They are
Yeah.
having jobs, well-paying jobs, and all
Yes.
of those. You see, all their circles, their family and friends, their social class. So anytime we who represent the masses come out to speak about some of these things,
Yeah.
they think we're making them up or we're living in our own world.
Yes.
Right? Because they don't see that.
Yes.
Now, mind you, these are people who live in the plush prime areas of Accra. Their route to and from work are within those same localities. So they don't see the sufferings of the ordinary man.
Yes. Tended car
car windows at high speeds,
Yes.
so they're not able to even see what's going on out there.
Yeah.
They don't go to the typical markets that you have to go to. It's either the house help does that,
Yes.
or they do their shopping in the metropolitan area, so
Exactly.
the supermarkets and all of
Yes.
those. So they don't have a real appreciation for
Yes.
what is going down
Yes.
down on the ground.
They've been gentrified. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's the
so,
thing. So there's a big disconnect between the ruling classes and us, the masses, and this something that we are seeking to bridge
Yes.
that gap. It's not bridging it so they can appreciate it and do something about it.
No.
But then we are looking at how we can give our people a vision of what is possible.
Yes.
That we don't have to always be living in a condition of lack.
Yes.
That we can actually create a system where it's equitable.
Yes.
There's equity
Yes.
for every man, and there's the social justice. That's what we're trying to do.
Yes. And
Yeah.
always it's been the teeming masses, the suffering masses to change the system.
Right.
Revolution
Always by
changes
the people.
changes the system
Yes,
for the better.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, we'll get there.
That's what we
The,
need. We
the
need a
youth of
revolution,
Ghana
yes.
need education towards that. Yes. So that's why we're here, the Warrior Kings
Exactly.
podcast, to
Right.
spread the right education. So moving to my favorite topic, it's a personal subject of mine concerning Burkina Faso. So what's the update on Burkina Faso? What is going on currently
Right.
with Captain Ibrahim Traore?
Right. So you realize a few days ago they had the victory parade in Moscow.
Russia, yeah.
That was a very, very historical moment. I'm so historical. I didn't get the kind of attention it deserved.
We know why.
No, of course, deliberately. Yeah. So I was monitoring traditional media, and not there was nothing. It was dead silent on that. Yes. But of course, social media brings us all the news. So
Yes.
we got to monitor and see. But yeah, it was a very, 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 very good show of force. I mean, the allies, China, Russia, they featured massively. Showing that they're ready for whatever it is going to happen. Yes. But then the side attraction on that was our man Traore. We heard there was a plane that was sent to fetch him.
Yes.
Yes, a Russian flight.
Air Force fighter jets.
And not just that, but then he had 4 jets to escort.
They in fact gave him presidential protocol
that was,
going to Moscow.
That was a beautiful moment to see.
Yeah, and it's a strong show of force and
solidarity.
Yes. To an African leader. Yeah.
Really, 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 really good. Again, I was hoping all of these things that happen will be by Africans for Africans.
Yes.
But then, of course, we acknowledge and then we admit that the times demand that we make certain strategic alignment. So go into alliances with certain powers. So Russia being one of the preferred or the most friendly in that regard.
Yes.
So yes, we understand what must be done.
Russia has kept it real with Africa for a long time.
Yes.
So.
But then I've always said, we don't have permanent friends.
Yes.
But we have permanent interests.
Yes, exactly.
So once it's an issue of interest, everybody would like to protect their own.
Yes.
Where it is mutually beneficial, then you can have alliances being formed.
When it's one-sided.
When it has to be,
one will suffer.
Each for himself.
Yeah.
People will take their stands by themselves. Yeah. So, like I said, I wish it would have been a collective African thing we do, but then we're getting there. I hope we get there very soon. But they've shown the way, and even though there's Traore that's always in the news, he's the face of the alliance. We should keep in mind that it's an alliance between 3 states.
Yeah.
And Traore is only the most charismatic, I say. That's
the
why
alliance of Sahel states.
Yes. So he's not alone. He's with Mali and Niger as well.
Yeah.
Yes. But he happens to be more charismatic.
Yeah.
So then he seems to be the face of all of that is happening.
Yes.
But he's not alone. There are 3
and bringing context to it, he's more popular and charismatic in the sense that he alone seems to know the right direction to take his country.
Right.
See, he is turning the coup into a revolution, giving the power to the people.
Right.
And talking about updates, right? If we are to go by or to believe anything in social vlogging and social media, there's a popular vlogger Wood Maya.
Right.
He went to Burkina Faso to let the world see what is really going on in the country,
right.
other than the propaganda and the hearsays and all.
Right.
In the sense that BBC, the BBC has been publishing negative news about Traore and Burkina Faso. So reports from Wood Maya, we all watched it, and seeing the man, the whole country
Right.
are behind Ibrahim Traore, in the sense that they are citizen vigilantes.
Right.
They don't sleep. They are in the middle of the street in the midnight. What are they doing? They say they are guarding their men. Everybody loves Ibrahim. The people don't have any problem with Ibrahim Traore, but there's been negative reports and propaganda against the African leader. So that, in a sense, has enhanced his popularity with world support.
Yeah. And again, it exposes the hypocrisy of some of these, not some, all of these Western media houses. So, for instance, they always create this impression they are promoting or defending democracy.
Yes.
Right? And when people like Traore rise up, they always are quick to say, when are they going to hand over power to a civilian government? When are they going to?
Yes.
Interestingly, Nyazengbe, the
Togo.
The Togolese president, yes,
Yeah.
had extended his tenure into a third term and had won the election.
Yeah.
At his inauguration, the ECOWAS chairman, that's the Nigerian president, as well as all other African countries, or many West African countries, were there, present.
And we know Tinubu is for Macron. Yeah.
So this is someone who constitutionally, per his country's laws, was not eligible to run for a third term. But then he was able to manipulate, and then have a third term instituted, contested elections, won the elections, was sworn in, and all these leaders attended, and nobody made any mention
protest
of democracy or protecting democracy. Paul Biya, the president of Cameroon, has been in power for over 30 years. Where is the democracy in this? Why is the West not asking him to return his country to democratic rule? Museveni, Uganda, has been in power for over 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
Why is the West or Western media houses not calling him to return to democracy?
He's serving the purpose.
You know? So it's almost as if when it serves the West's interest, then democracy is whatever is right for them.
Yes.
But whenever someone else comes up and is trying to do what's going to be in the best interest of his people, then that has to be.
We saw what they did to Gaddafi.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, and Libya today is a very democratic state.
Yes.
Per the Western
but
definition.
backward.
You know, no. So per the Western definition, this is democracy, and that is good for them. Yes. You know, so Ghana, as it stands right now, is a perfect module of a democratic state, right? Because
in the eyes of the West.
In the eyes of the West.
Yes.
So, you know, there's massive unemployment among the youth. There's corruption in high places. Cost of living is rising.
State capture.
Quality of life is actually
going down.
State capture is on the rise. Nepotism and all of these things. You know,
bogus education.
Say again?
Bogus education.
Actually, non-existence. We don't have an education. It's. I don't call this an education because our people are not even able to compete globally.
No.
You know, so that could not be an education. But, you know, poor healthcare or non-existent healthcare. These are the things that the West sees as a fledgling or blossoming democracy. But Traore has made it clear. He says this is not a democracy. This is a revolution. And a revolution we're building or rebuilding our country.
Changing the system.
And that is what we need. So no, really, really good times to see someone like Traore come up.
Yes.
Because it's been an unanswered prayer for a very long time.
Now the revolution is being televised.
It's live.
You know, Ghost Card Heron said the revolution will not be but I'm sorry he's dead. He should have seen it. That today
it's actually not televised, it's live.
Yeah, it is live.
We are watching it
see
right
it
next
and
to
we're part of it.
Exactly.
Wherever we are, we're part of it.
So and these are good times. But then again, yes, we'd have to take on the fight. It will not happen automatically.
Yeah.
We'd have to stand and make sure we push this agenda to its logical conclusion. Yeah. And that is the job we have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then look, very good times. I mean, we're in a very significant historical moment for
We are
Africa.
living in the best times.
Best times.
Yes, and
Best
I
times.
think, as you've once said before, this generation seems to have the destiny to turn everything
around.
Like the generational yoke in
400
the,
years
in the
of-
neck of Africa
yes.
is being removed.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
we're breaking it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. And I'll
So-
just throw this out there for your viewers. So, there's been this thing that's been said so many times about how Africans have been placed under certain cares, perfected cares, right? And that they were supposed to serve in slavery for 400 years. Okay.
Is it you're talking biblical or
Yeah,
what?
biblical, yes, biblical. So,
Yeah, so that would be Ham, Japheth, and all.
and all of those, So, so that's what the story says. There've been that distinction that's been made with our people, saying, yeah, we are the real Israelites. And mind you, those in Israel today are not called Israelites; they're called Israelis.
Yes.
So
yes.
you're not the same people.
Yes, and we know where they're from.
Exactly.
They are Ashkenazi Jews.
Ashkenazi
We know
Jews,
them.
yes.
Yes.
So if you look at that story, right, the context of the story is such that there's only one group of people in this world who have satisfied all of those conditions, right? Being sold into slavery, traded as commodity, and all of those. There's only one peculiar people. Our people.
Africa.
Right. So then that story, no matter how they like to twist the story, it always comes back to a certain people, our people. Right.
Yes.
Now the prophecy says they're going to go through that treatment for 400 years. From the
Yes.
moment where they're going to start being sold as commodity and all of those,
Yes.
it's going to last for 400 years.
We've been through that.
And that after 400 years, there was going to be a certain restoration.
Yes.
Right? Now, the first time our people were sold as chattel was in 1619. Now, 400 years from 1619 is 2019.
yeah.
Right. So then I have said
So
yeah.
specifically the year of return.
the year of return.
Yes, yes.
It
So,
coincided with that.
With that, yes.
And not coincidental. You realize at that same moment, that's when there was a global upheaval of our people. There seemed to be this natural mistake that was joining or uniting
connecting, yes.
everyone. So it started with
Yes.
the George Floyd
But some
issue.
start with tragedy.
No, of course, every
Yes.
time, yes.
Yeah,
So with the George Floyd issue,
Yes.
for the first time in a very long time, we saw a global upheaval, like I said, of our people. Our people came together with one voice, with
To
one
fight
call,
injustice.
to fight injustice. And from
Yeah.
2019, it's been a consistent trend, and it's been increasing in momentum.
Yes.
Till we've seen all these coup d'etats, all the coup d'etats we've seen, or revolutions we've seen in Africa, all began after 2019. You realize, yeah. And these, like I said, are not coup d'etats, but are revolutions
Yes.
because
The
they sought to
purpose-
change or challenge the power
purpose,
structure.
another definition would tell what it is.
Exactly.
But the purpose
The
of
purpose
it.
for which it
Yeah.
has been done, yes.
Yeah.
So we've seen all of these things happen from 2019, which aligns with the prophecy that says that we've served a sentence of 400 years. It's now time to return to excellence.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen automatically. Like I
Yes.
said, people have to step up to take on certain responsibilities and
Yes.
drive this change. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the time we're in, and it's a beautiful moment to be
Yes.
alive.
And about the time we are in, we are in the Aquarius age.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that on the zodiac,
Right.
Aquarius is where the man is
The water
pouring
bearer.
water
Yeah.
on the ground for fresh knowledge.
Right.
See,
Right.
and before the Aquarius age, it was the Piscean age,
Right.
where the world was dogmatic. People used their
Doctrine and yeah.
doctrines and opinions and
Right.
force on other people.
Yeah.
But in the Aquarius age,
knowledge.
no knowledge.
Right.
It will be shame and pathetic for an individual to be ignorant because you have the power. You can be anywhere, literally, even not physically, anywhere in the world now. You can know what is going on in America, China,
Yeah.
now. See, so we're living in the best times.
Best times.
And
Best
we
times.
must be able to utilize it
Exactly.
to our advantage. And that is why we're here. That is what the Warrior Kings podcast
is
started
on.
for. We're bringing enlightenment to the majority of
Yeah.
people who make change, not dormant people,
Yeah.
change makers.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Nia,
Yes, sir.
what would be your last words
Right.
to the people out there?
Right. So then, as usual, it's going to be the very same. This is a collective exercise for all of us. It is not just for a group of people or select people. no.
Yeah.
each and every one of us has to be involved because we are all involved in this, right? So there's a time to get involved. Get yourself connected. Meet with like minds, comrades around. Join a revolutionary organization around you, the closest to you. Get active on social media. Join, participate. Let's study together. Let's organize together. And mind you, on the 25th of May, the march in solidarity with the people of Burkina Faso and their leader Traore is happening right in Accra.
That's right.
Make sure you're representing live. Let's make this a historical moment. But then it goes beyond that. Let us organize. Let's study together so we can build our nations together. And of course, yes, keep watching here.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks for the righteous words.
Anytime,
and to my brother and sister out there whom we came here to serve, this has been the Warrior Kings podcast. This right here is the best patriotic podcast in the world. I would urge you to follow, subscribe, like, comment, share, talk about it. Let's interact. And I would reiterate that there's a big march coming on the 25th of May.
Yes.
And I would urge everybody, let's meet and mass up for Burkina Faso, for Ibrahim Traore. Warrior Kings podcast is an official media sponsor to the march. Let's meet there. Let's grant you an interview. Let's talk with us. Let's learn together. Yeah. And thanks for watching. We are out of here.
Boom.